Welcome to Love Up lesson number 7. 7 days, a week of showing up for yourself, of recharging your resources, of noticing what you're giving, of uncovering hooks. You are doing the work. You are already loving up. That is willingness and commitment in action. As always, before we dive into lesson number 7, make sure you're comfortable and have something to write with. Pen and paper are great, but your phone works too. Here it is, lesson number 7. I am willing to see things differently. Write it down. I am willing to see things differently. Now, we've all used a filter on our phone's camera or social media post, right? Maybe one that sharpens the image, brightens colors, or softens everything. The filter doesn't change the reality of what's in the photo. It just changes the way you see it. We know from lesson 6 that what we see depends on what we feel. That we all have our own filters shaping the way we see the world. The beliefs, past experiences, and emotions we carry act as these filters. And just like a social media filter, they can make things look distorted, exaggerated, or even unrecognizable. But here's the lesson. We don't automatically change the way we see things. We don't just wake up and suddenly experience the world through a fresh, clear lens. We have to be willing to change the filter. And this is where most of us get stuck. We think we want to see things differently, but we aren't fully committed. We aren't fully willing to make that shift. We want to let go of judgment, but we keep reaching for the same old filter that highlights everything wrong with the world. We want to stop feeling like a victim, but we hold on to the filter that reinforces our past pain. We want to be happier and more carefree at work, but we pick the filter that adds pressures and deadlines to everything we do. Most of us like the idea of being happier, kinder, and more purposeful. What we don't realize is that we're actually not willing to let go of the filter we've been using for so long. It's almost like there's a sense of safety that the filter brings because it's so familiar. So how do you become willing? You've already started. We start by noticing our filters. Think of a subject that gets you hooked and dragged by fear straight away. A subject like money, work, socializing, cleaning. What filter is at play when you bring that subject into mind? Is the filter doubt, guilt, panic, exhaustion? You can see how this builds straight on from the last lesson. Your inner world creates the filter. You can't shift the inner world and the filter it creates if you're not actually willing to do it. So write down the subject you picked and the filter you noticed. Pause if you need to. And now ask yourself, what would change if I saw this differently? If I changed my inner world and permanently swapped my filter for one that softened my view or brought in more joy, what would shift? Again, pause if you need to. And now, the most important question. Am I truly willing to change this filter? Because without willingness, you can't commit to changing it, and the same filter stays in place. You may swipe to a different filter, but then automatically come back to your original one. And this is why we relapse, why habits fall away and are replaced by the old ones. We aren't actually willing to replace them. There's a hook buried down deep that keeps us attached to it. It keeps us in the then. Here comes your focus phrase to help you with this. Today, I see love instead of fear. If you are truly willing to change your filter, then you will be willing to see love. You will be willing to see things as they are now and not how you think they should be. Because remember, love is now and fear is then. If you are willing to see things differently, you are willing to see love instead of fear. Willingness doesn't mean forcing yourself to be positive. It simply means being motivated to shift perspectives, to experiment, to step outside your usual view and try a new one, and ultimately be committed to keeping a new one. So let's put all of this into practice. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and take a long inhale and a long exhale, allowing your relationship with the stillness to be a healthy and high quality relationship. And as we do in every love up practice, rate how you feel right now. 1 is calm, grounded and steady. 10 is chaotic, anxious and unsettled. Give yourself a number and pocket it for later. Now, imagine you're looking at your phone. On your phone is a picture of a moment or a picture of people in your life. See this picture in the middle of your mind and notice what filter is on the photo. A better way to think of this is, what filter is between you and the photo? Does the filter highlight problems? Does it spotlight love? Does it blur out joy? Does it exaggerate certain emotions? There's no right or wrong. You're just observing. Now take a long inhale and imagine yourself swiping to a new filter. Even if you like the old filter, you are choosing another. This filter represents your willingness to see things differently. Gently place the new filter over your photo. What changes? How does the image shift? Now repeat in your mind, I am willing to see things differently. Notice how that feels in the body. If you notice any tension, any pushback, don't ignore it, don't suppress it, don't force. You get what you give. So acknowledge it. Welcome it. I am willing to see things differently. Let that willingness settle into your body. Feel the weight of it. Not as pressure, but as power. You get to choose. You get to shift. You are in control of the filter you use. Now think of the day ahead of you, no matter what it holds. And repeat in your mind, today I see love instead of fear. Notice how the body feels as you repeat this. Today I see love instead of fear. Take another long inhale and an even longer exhale. And as you do this, rate your state one last time, noticing any differences in the numbers. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Before moving on, write down what you experienced. And then write today's lesson and focus phrase 3 times so it sticks with you. You have all the power you need. You just need to unhook it, to release it. Keep practicing, keep showing up for yourself. When it feels hard, return to this lesson and your willingness to change. because the alternative is that you're not willing. And I know that you are.